All right. Hello, hello, all. Apologies for the late notice on this one. It's been a rough week, all. But you know what? We're here. We're gonna play some shit, and I don't know if we're gonna finish this tonight, but maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Um, so yeah, let's kind of get into it. We're in our final character route, so we're in Nono's route. Um, Let's see. Let's look at the recap. It feels like it's been ages since we played this, and I don't know if that's just my brain is just tired all the time right now, or if like nothing has actually happened, or I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go, but we have the recap. Nono's route begins with delusions about the ghetto froggy suit getting us all the ladies, squishing into Nono's bosom accidentally, pantsing Kawahara, drooling over Nono's panty shot, wooing Nono with her favorite pancakes, and Nono bathing with us. Nono and Serika fought with faulty D-swords because of their emotional turmoil, with Nono questioning how her actions could possibly please us and calling out her jealousy of everything that makes us happy. Serika called Nono a lying fake, but Nono survived the fight to explain everything to us, claiming that she has the same power as Hinae. Yeah, which I I'm still somewhat skeptical. Like, I don't know. We know she's still keeping a secret because we know from the other routes that there is supposedly a secret that she knows that would make her hate us or make us hate her. So, I'm very curious. I'm looking forward to seeing where we go with this. All right, so let's go ahead and get going. And I appreciate the hope for a better week. The next few days were a blur. We had to go to the police and ID the body, then get the death certificate. I was surprised at how much work. Oh, that's right. Our dad died, if I remember correctly. Like he was the next victim. There we go. I mean, we did have the guess that Nono was actually like that she swapped out with her friend, which all of a sudden I can't remember her name, despite the fact I've said it 18 million times in previous streams. The one that died that was in the chair. So yeah, exactly. I'm not so sad about Dad. I know we are because we don't know he was involved yet, but Takadu, you're better off. Um, I was surprised at how much work there was for the family of a murder victim to do. I was worried that there might not be time to properly mourn, but maybe it was better to be so busy there wasn't time to remember you were sad. Both Kurisu and I were able to forget about things during all that. The problem was Yuto. He'd lost his sister, and now his adoptive father was dead. He was never a strong boy to begin with, so he was in pretty bad shape. But Yamazoe was what saved him. She stayed with him the whole time while we were running around. After the autopsy of Dad's body was finished, it was decided that he'd be cremated. We didn't have the money for a funeral, but a local neighborhood group put together enough money for the cheapest service available. We somehow managed to make it work. A lot of Dad's old patients came to pay their respects. And when it was all over, we suddenly found ourselves facing a new problem. What? You're telling us we have to leave? Yeah, we don't have an adult. Um, so I really can't blame them. I really hate to make things worse for you guys after everything you've been through, but yeah, Senni, that's what her name was. Shinjo had come to visit us that day in Alba Dorm. He had a bitter look on his face as he spoke. Section 2 did some looking around after the murder, and it looks like Sakuma didn't have insurance. Of course he didn't. Yes, that's true. I talked to him about it several times, but he always said it was too much of a bother. We never thought this would happen. I'd never talked to Dad about money. She was the only one in the dorm who knew that. So you were in charge of the budget here? Yes. Then I'm sure you're aware that the situation was pretty bad. He was running at a loss to begin with, and unpaid bills were piling up. Things were at their breaking point already. I knew we weren't rich, but I'd had no idea it was that bad. And yet Dad had taken us in anyway. Only now, when it was too late, did I realize how much he'd protected us.
Yeah, and that's why you should always have a life insurance policy.
And there's a mortgage on the building itself, too. Either you or Miyashiro is free to take it, but even if you did, it would immediately be repossessed and you'd be left with nothing but bills. It's not what I'd call a smart decision.
I mean, we have our little camper. Can't all four of us live in it? I know it's small, but we can be fun, right? I don't know how we afford that either, so
In other words, we had no choice but to leave. Hey, big sis Nono? Yuto was standing a little away from us, looking scared. What's going on? What's going to happen to us? Yuto, do we have to leave? I don't want to leave. This is our this is our home. This is where me and my sister and Dad and big sis Nono and big brother Takaru and big sis Ukiyo lived. I don't. Yuto. Yamazoe held him gently as he started to cry. "Aw, Yuto, baby." Her face was clouded with worry, too. I could understand it. She'd finally made it out of that basement and had only started getting used to her new life, and now this had happened. But even if we do have to leave, we've got nowhere else to go.
I could go back to the RV I'd been living in.
But I wouldn't be able to fit everyone there. There was no room in there for 4 people, even if some of them were kids. I think the best option would be for you to go to another orphanage.
So I think it's less that you're obligated to paying a dead person's debts and more that, so from what I understand, and I should point out, I've never owned a building or an actual like home in Japan. I've always rented. So I don't know entirely how it works, but basically what it sounds like is he owns the building, and because there are basically they would be taking over his actual contract, which would then come with the debts. Because the mortgage itself would come with the debts, not necessarily the fact that he had the debts. It would just be associated with the building.
Another orphanage? But there's a problem. Ever since the earthquake, all the orphanages in the city have been full. It looks like it's going to be hard for you all to go to the same place.
No, you can't separate us.
So that means we have to go to different orphanages? It does, yeah. No.
Yuto was the first to speak.
I don't want to go. I don't want to leave or be separated from everybody. I don't. I gasped a little as I heard the tension in Yuto's voice. I'd never seen him express himself so clearly to an adult. That was how serious the prospect of leaving everyone was to him. I don't want that either. Yamazoe rubbed Yuto's back, speaking in a clearer voice than I'd ever heard from her before. We're finally a family. You can't just tear us apart.
I mean, look, Mio could adopt one of our psychics and, have a little lab rat. And Shinjo, I don't know that Shinjo seems like a competent parent, but, we could make it work, right? I don't know where we're going with this.
Shinjo scratched his head as if he wasn't sure what to say. He was a nice guy, really. Telling us this stuff wasn't even his job. But he was the one who had told us, and he was the only person we could complain to. Don't worry. Yuto, Uki, I'll do something. Do something? Do what? Well, a part-time job or something. A job? You can't make enough money to support this many people. But if I quit school... Are you serious? There's no other way, though. I don't want us to be torn apart either. You're my family. I'll work too.
You don't know.
Yuto. I'll work if it means I can stay with everybody. I can deliver papers and stuff. I never expected Yuto to say something like that. His life here must have been very important to him.
This kid has lost like two of his family members. The attachment whole relationship he's got with all these people is like duct tape at the moment. So, oh, there we go. We can clean up one of the beds in the abandoned hospital wing. We found Uki in that. Like, come on. That's thinking with our heads.
But it was important to me, too. And there was something else we had to worry about. Was Serika going to give up now? She hadn't come after us so far, but there was no guarantee she wouldn't come after Kurisu again. Or maybe Yuto or Uki would be her next target. Which meant that there was only one thing I could do. I think we can get by for a while if we use my savings. Takara. The problem is that we need a place to live.
But would any place rent a room to a bunch of students who just lost their father?
Well, I figured this was how it was going to work out.
Shinjo sighed and scratched his head some more, then took his phone out of his pocket.
Is there some way?
I'll talk to a friend of mine who's good with this stuff. It's someone you know well, but just so we're clear, I'm not making guarantees.
Thank you! Thank you!
Kurisu, Yuto, and Yamazoe all bowed.
Sheesh, this really isn't my job, you know?
He mumbled to himself as he dialed the number, then put the phone up to his ear. There we go, like, Serika's us, and Serika is probably not going back to her apartment, so we can live in Serika's place.
Oh, hello. Momose? I need to talk to you for a moment. Do you have some time? All right, this is your new home.
None of us were sure what to say when Momose took us to our new place.
This is it?
It was an old, rundown apartment building that had clearly been built at least 30 years ago.
Well, I didn't exactly have a lot of options for you. Just be glad I found something, okay? Don't worry. Takara, it may look a little beat up, but it's got everything it needs, and I'm sure we'll get used to it. That's right, Big Brother Takara. If we can all live together, it doesn't matter if it's a little old.
Also, we can always go back to our RV and, like, lessen the burden. I don't know why we are not thinking of that, but whatever.
I think it's wonderful, too. Everybody was trying to stay positive, but
I wasn't worried about the age of the building or the condition of the room.
No, that's not it. It's not? Then what's bothering you? Well, sheesh, I wondered what all the noise was about. What's going on here?
Oh, we have a neighbor. The closed door had opened and Konosato had come out.
Kunosato? What are you doing here?
Kurisu moved between Kunosato and Yuto as she spoke. This was bad. These two didn't get along. Of course, that was only because Kunosato hated us for no reason.
Normally, people bring a box of chocolates when they move in. You've got quite an attitude considering you came here second. Second? Takaru, what does she mean? This is, the room next door is kind of hers.
She's our neighbor? I nodded silently. Kurisu grabbed Yuto's hand and headed for the door.
Yuto, let's go. Come on, you too, Uki. Huh? Big sis Nono?
Kurisu, where are you going?
Somewhere else. I'm not living next to her.
Kurisu, what the fuck? Yamazoe was standing in the center of the room, fidgeting. Exactly, we just don't want the kids near our cool press magazines there. The bad influence.
I'd be perfectly happy if you left. But do you have any place else to go? That doesn't concern you.
Seeing Kunosato had caused the blood to rush to Kurisu's head.
Calm down, Kurisu. Relax. But Takaru, you know what kind of person she is, right?
I do, but if we leave, where are we going to go?
We'll go to that trailer you live in.
With Yuto and Uki?
Well, I'm sorry about this, but I couldn't find anything else.
Momose looked a little upset to see how poorly Kurisu and Kunosato got along. Only when she saw that did Kurisu let go of Yuto's hand.
Big sis Nono, are we gonna lose our home? I'm sorry. It's fine, I wasn't thinking.
She gently patted Yuto on the head and turned to Kunosato. But just so we're clear, you're just our neighbor. If you try to do any experiments on Takeru and Uki, I'll make you regret it. You'd better not cause any trouble either. If you make a lot of noise, I'll pound on the wall without mercy. And I don't want to run into you out in the hall either. If I'm out there, you stay inside. Kunosato turned and walked back down the hall to her own room, her footsteps creaking on the wooden floor. What is that girl's problem? Kurisu stuck her tongue out at the closed door. Was she a little kid? But it was rare to see Kurisu acting like a little kid. In a sense, Kunosato had a unique talent for bringing that side of Kurisu out. I'm sorry, guys. No, I should apologize to you. You've been very good to us. She's got a lot of problems of her own. Try to cut her some slack. Problems? Only then did I wonder, for the first time, why Kunosato was so obsessively pursuing the case. She was originally a brain scientist, supposedly, but I doubt she'd tell me if I asked. There we go. You and that girl better not be having sex too loud when I'm trying to sleep. Hey, you guys! Why are you standing there talking when you're making me work? Carry some stuff yourselves! Oh, sorry! We'll go now! Come on, Takure! Oh, yeah. Once Shinjo and Momose finished carrying everything in, they left, and we were alone. Kurisu had split up the work for the move. But this wasn't a big room, and we had a lot of people. We couldn't bring in most of the furniture, and even if we did, there'd be no place to put it. In the end, we only brought clothes, daily necessities, and a few mementos, so it wasn't too much work. My internet was set up, so at least I had that. Kurisu stood in the kitchen, filling a pot with water. She put the pot on the burner and turned on the gas. Soba's fine for dinner, right? Oh, I know about that. That's what you eat when you move, right? Yes, you're actually supposed to take it to the person next door, but... Kunosato was our next door neighbor. Even if we did take it, I doubted she'd eat it. Soba. Did you maybe want curry or Hamburg steak? No, soba's fine. I see. Sorry about this. I'll help you. Oh, absolutely. Like, we would be trying to annoy Kunosato as much as we could. Okay, thanks. Can you get the dishes ready? And wipe down the table. He said he didn't mind soba, but a kid Yuto's age must have wanted to eat something different. But he was probably trying not to cause a fuss because of how little money we had. And Yamazoe was trying to find her own role in the family. But... Thank you for the food. Thank you for eating it. We'd found a place to live, but there was still so much to worry about. If I was just trying to survive on my own, like I had been in the RV, I would have been fine. But now, things were different. We had to survive on our own now, with no one's protection. How long would we be able to keep this up? I had no clear vision for the future. I realized once more how much it meant for Dad to take us in. Takeru, are you okay? Did you get enough food? Oh, yeah, I'm full. Starting tomorrow, I'll make some better meals. I wasn't really worried about that, but I nodded anyway. All right, now that our bellies are full, let's do this. Kurisu sat up straight. From now on, this is our family's home. What's this all about? It's a way of starting off our new life. You don't have to do that. No, this stuff is important. That was just like Kurisu, though. Now, we're going to make a promise as we start our new life here. A promise? Yeah, it's the same as before, though. No secrets between family members. Keep this promise no matter what, so that we don't get torn apart again. Kurisu. It felt like an expression of her resolve to me. She never wanted me to leave her again. Yet she's still keeping a secret from us, though. Yeah, got it. I promise. I promise, too. What about you, Takure? Yeah, I promise. Very good. All right, everyone.
Welcome to your new home. Welcome to your new home. And thus, our new life began. Oh dear, you look tired. That's right, you worked hard today. Let's take a bath and get you in bed. Okay. Fortunately, as beat up as this apartment was, it had its own bath and toilet. To be fair, there weren't that many public baths left lately. An apartment building without baths and toilets wouldn't make it. I looked at the clock and it was just past 9. It felt like a long day. Living in the same room as other people meant that you couldn't set the pace of your own day. I'd realized that just over these few hours. I'd lived with others before, but I'd always had my own personal space. Here, though, I didn't. If I wanted my own space, I'd have to leave. Of course, I couldn't ask for too much right now. And anyway, I felt a kind of peace here. Takaru, I took a bath already. Why don't you take one too? You're all sweaty, right? Huh? Oh, I'm fine. You are not fine. I'm not letting you into the futon until you're clean. I used to find Kurisu annoying at times like this, but now... Hmm. I'm sure they were both tired. They fell asleep the moment they lay down. Yeah. We'd never all slept together on the floor like this before. Hey, Kurisu? It'll be fine. Huh? You were going to ask how we're going to survive without Dad, right? How? I know what you're going to say. I'm your family, your big sister. Kurisu. You're still calling me that, huh? Oh. No, it's fine. Someday, just go back to the old way if you can. I'm sorry. Anyway, as long as we all work together, it'll be fine. It'll work out. No, I'll make it work out. So... It was as if she was talking to herself. Having everyone together in that old home had been really important to Kurisu. I realized now that she was probably the one who was the most hurt when I left. And also the one who was the most nervous now. Family, huh? Huh? Nothing. Good night. Yeah. Good night.
Yeah, as it turns out, Dad not being around does increase our chances of survival dramatically. Don't know what the hell Sedika's doing right now, but...
Would we be able to be a family again here? I almost said the words, but was too embarrassed. But listening to everyone snore next to me brought me a great deal of peace. Takaru! Takaru, wake up! Fine, we'll do this the hard way. Takaru, wake up!
Ah!
You're finally up? Why did you yell? You scared me. Because you wouldn't wake up any other way, right? But you didn't have to.
Huh? Wait, why was Kurisu waking me up? In this room?
Big Brother Takaru, you're so slow getting up. Everybody else got up long ago. Oh, yeah, I see.
That's right. We were all living here now. Literally under the same roof. But still, couldn't you try and wake me up a little more gently?
What are you talking about? I tried that at first, right? Yep, at first her voice was really gentle. But you still didn't wake up.
Evidently, it was 3 versus 1.
Anyway, breakfast is ready. Put your futon away and get dressed. Oh, I'll skip breakfast. No, you need to eat breakfast in the morning or you won't have any energy. Come on, go.
It is what it feels like, though. Like, we're doing the whole husband and wife bit. Except for we've been brother and sister until now. I still don't know. The brother complex is just wild in this.
I still wanted to sleep, but she took my futon away from me.
Yamazoe was looking at us as if she found something strange.
What? No, I was just thinking that you look like a real brother and sister. Oh, of course. We're family. Family? That's right. Of course, so are you, Uki. I am too?
Yamazoe smiled, embarrassed. Kurisu looked happy to see her that way too. After breakfast, I used my Pokecom to look for information on the murders. I'd been too busy lately to check, but I was sure that there must have been some developments. I still hadn't been able to go to the police about Serika. I probably should have told Shinjo already. But I just couldn't figure out why Serika would do something like that. Kurisu had said she'd done it for me, but if that was true, then it meant that I was basically the one who had killed Yue and Dad. Was it okay to make Serika suffer for that alone? And why did Serika think that's what I wanted anyway? Was that really what I had wanted? No, that was impossible. I. It's done. Kurisu had been playing with a roll of fabric.
What were you making? I thought it would be nice to have a curtain over the shelving. You know, we don't want to leave the dishes exposed or they'll get dusty. And this is for the doorknob and tissue box. Little things like this can really brighten up a room, you know. Wow, you're right.
Kurisu was steadily turning the room into a place to live. I doubt I would have ever thought of any of those things, but it was true that having them here made the room feel much more like home.
Could I do that? Of course. I'll show you. Let's do it together. Okay.
Yamazoe had said that we looked like brother and sister, but she and Kurisu looked just like a pair of sisters too. What are you doing, Yuto? Studying? For school? Want me to help?
Really?
Yeah, I guess I can do it once in a while. There was nothing for me to do here anyway. And...
All right. Tell me how to do this.
For now, I wanted to treasure this peaceful time. What?
Nothing.
What?
I said nothing.
Weirdo. Hey, Kurisu, don't you have to go to school today? After everything that had happened and then moving on top of it all, we hadn't had time for school. Neither of us had been in a while. Of course, the school was being understanding, but we couldn't skip school forever.
You have to go too, don't you, Takara?
But you've got the student council and I don't, right? You can't keep missing days.
Kawahara's handling the student council for me. It's fine. My term's almost up anyway. And we can't go to school and leave them here, can we?
Shouldn't they be going to school too? That was true. It wouldn't be right to go and leave Yuto and Yamazoe behind. But I couldn't send Kurisu on her own either. There was no telling when Serika might come.
Hey, Takara?
Hmm?
About Serika.
Yeah. Hearing her name from another person's mouth made me tense. I didn't want to believe she was the killer. But the way she'd been acting, and the way she'd been trying to kill Kurisu, those were both real.
I thought about it, and I realized I don't know anything about her.
Huh? Well, what are you talking about? You guys were friends, right? She likes sweets and grapefruit juice. She's a bit of an airhead.
Not that. I mean, like, where she lives, what her parents are like. Serika got hurt in the earthquake too, right? Where were her parents?
Well,
They're alive, right? What do they do? Have you ever met them? You've known her since she was a kid, right? Normally, if you've known someone for that long, you'll have gone to their house at least once or twice, right?
I was stunned. Serika and I had been together for years, but I didn't know anything about her parents or her house. They'd never come to the school field day or parent-teacher meetings. She never talked about them, and I never brought it up. But they should have at least come up in conversation a few times. I didn't even remember that. In fact, I didn't even have any photos from her from when she was a kid.
We might need to look into Serika a little.
November 11th, 2015. Wednesday. Excuse me.
Oh, Shinjo, hello.
Katsuko Momose smiled as Takashi Shinjo came into her office. Oh my, you're as glum as ever, aren't you? You need a change of pace once in a while, though I guess that's not really possible, is it? Between you and me, I've always wanted to be a hard-boiled detective type. Shinjo was unconsciously patting his belly with his left hand. He was nursing a nasty upset stomach. Look, it's on right now. Momose pointed at the TV, where a news show was doing a panel on the murders. You could probably find the same topics on every channel. Let's go over the events thus far once more. The return of the new generation madness was believed to have ended with the arrest of a suspect. However, on November 4th, the same date as the DQN puzzle murder 6 years ago, another murder took place. And what's more, the young man who was arrested as a suspect suddenly began to deny all involvement yesterday. Our sources state that he's declaring his innocence in regards to all of the murders. Some people are saying that the police may have arrested the wrong person. If they did, this is a serious issue. He's a minor after all. And they treated him as a murderer when he was actually innocent. Some human rights groups are already protesting. And I would expect to see more protests in the future. Just like the commentator on TV had said, the public had already turned against the police. Shinjo and the rest of the force's reputation was in the gutter. No, he'd be lucky if it was just damage to his reputation. At some point, he'd probably be asked to resign. It must be tough. That's right. And now they tell me Shinji Ito's been released. I see. He was released. That's right. Kunosato did everything she could. His brain's in a much better state now. The problem is that Section 1 arrested him because he's been insisting that he was the killer, but Kunosato says that he was brainwashed. And we've matched the microscopic evidence from the past cases with Ito's DNA, and there's just too much that doesn't make sense. Microscopic evidence is analyzed with tools such as gas chromatography and electron microscopes, primarily used to refer to things like DNA, hair, fingerprints, blood, semen, footprints, and tire tracks left at a crime scene. Microscopic evidence is admissible in a court of law. Edmond Locard, 1877 to 1966, who was known as the Sherlock Holmes of France, formulated Locard's exchange principle, which says that every criminal will both bring something into a crime scene and take something away. This principle became the foundation of modern forensic science. But still, releasing him was a pretty bold move, wasn't it? If the media finds out about that, won't you be in trouble? I don't think we'll have to worry about that for a while. What do you mean? Ito's still in the hospital. It should appear that we're keeping him under psychiatric observation. I see. I mean, we know that there have been alternate realities in which these, like in these previous ones. So there's a possibility that this is a universe where somehow Serika isn't actually committing these murders. I don't know. We'll find out. He's a lot better, but his brain is still in a state of extreme stress. Extreme stress, huh? I'm not a specialist, so I don't know the details, but the numbers were bad enough before that he couldn't possibly have been sane. So fortunately, we're able to refuse any visitors. I see. While you're at it, why don't you spend some time in a hospital too? You look pretty tired. You haven't gotten any rest, have you? You're right. I should at least get a physical. Shinjo rubbed his stomach without laughing. His phone went off in his pocket. He took out his phone and looked at the name on the screen. It's Miyashiro. Oh my. Hello, this is Shinjo. What is it? Did something happen? It seemed like he wasn't going to get that physical anytime soon. Welcome! Oh, it's you. I went to the place Shinjo suggested and was greeted by the same rude waitress as always. You here alone? No, I'm waiting for someone. I looked around and saw Shinjo in the back. He was looking out the window and rubbing his stomach. I nodded to the waitress and went to sit with him. Hey, you're here. Thanks for your help with everything. Yeah, don't worry about it. What did you want to talk about? Even no, I wasn't sure if I should tell Shinjo about Seriko. Shinjo frowned. I'm really busy these days, honestly. I don't have enough time to do anything. I don't even have a second to waste. Sorry. I looked at Shinjo's cup and saw that it was filled with milk. From the way he was rubbing his stomach, he might be feeling sick. I couldn't call him all the way out here and then just tell him it was nothing. Well, but how to ask? Um, if I asked you to look into Serika Onoe without asking me why, would you do it? Onoe? He looked at me appraisingly. A moment later, he shook his head a little. He'd grown a little chin stubble. I don't know what happened between you and Onoe, but I just got bit badly by a boy who cried wolf. I can't be using police resources without asking why. A boy who cried wolf. It was obvious who he was talking about. I'd seen on the news that Ito had suddenly switched to proclaiming his innocence. The festivals had continued on 8chan's news board ever since the first report, and the threads were still popping up even now. I could imagine that things were tense at the police station right now. You should really be going to a detective agency for that. You're right, I think. So at least tell me why. What should I do? Even if Shinjo did look into Serika without asking me any questions, if he found something, the result would be the same. But I still couldn't bring myself to tell him, from my own lips, that Serika might be the killer. Oh, fine. Shinjo saw that I wasn't going to say anything and sighed. You want me to look into Serika Onoe's background, right? You'll do it? I've come this far. And right now I need to grab onto any possibility I've got. You're not going to ask why? It doesn't matter at this point. My reputation's already gone to hell. But if I do find something suspicious, I can't guarantee that I'll be able to shut things down. You're okay with that, right? I could tell from the way that he spoke that he wasn't joking. Yeah. There was no turning back now. I said it aloud so that I could hear it too. I'm back. Oh, welcome home. Kurisu welcomed me with a smile when I opened the door. Welcome home, big brother Takure. Welcome home. Yuto was sitting at his desk doing schoolwork. Yamazoe seemed to be studying too. Both of them looked up at the same time. I'd lived with other people at the Elba dorm, but we'd all had our own rooms. It felt a little weird to hear welcome home as soon as I walked through the door. But it wasn't a bad feeling at all. This is what you wanted, right? Oh, thanks. I handed Kurisu the ingredients for dinner that she'd asked me to pick up before I left. What's up? No, never mind. Kurisu didn't ask where I'd been going when I left, but I was sure she could guess. She probably wanted to know how it had gone, but she wasn't asking for my sake. I got everything on the list, right? Huh? The stuff you asked me to buy. Oh, yeah. Konnyaku, tofu. Huh? What's this, Takure? The little kids probably want some snacks once in a while, right? Snacks? Yuto stood up when he heard the word snacks. His face broke into a huge grin when he saw the value-sized pack of yak cuts in Kurisu's hands. Yes, chocolate! Thanks, big brother Takure! Look, Cookie, it's chocolate! Chocolate! Do you like chocolate? Yeah? Hey, big sis Nono, can I have some chocolate? Once you're done studying. Yay! Let's hurry up and finish, big sis Uki. Okay. The two of them sat down at the desk and began to study even harder than before. Yuto's brain cell heard sugar and he was in. Come on, Takuru, you know better than that. We don't know when we're going to need money from now on, so you can't waste any. I know, but it's just a little bag of chocolate. All those little things start to pile up, and then... Kurisu stopped and shook her head. No, maybe you're right. We'll go nuts if we try to deny ourselves everything. Times are tough. We need at least a little something to keep us going. Kurisu. Huh? What is it? No, it's nothing. It seemed like she'd changed since she'd come here. I was going to say that, but I stopped. You're silly. When she smiled, it was a little more peaceful than the smile I was used to seeing. Maybe I thought I'd known everything about Kurisu, but I hadn't known anything at all. I got the call from Shinjo that night. I'm sure you don't want to believe this, but there's no doubt about it. I see. Thank you. After I heard what Shinjo had to say, I staggered back to the apartment. Exactly. We just lost our dad at home. I think the kids are allowed to have candy today. Look, I had a bad meeting and I had candy. The kids get candy today. When I arrived, Kurisu had just gotten out of the bath and was drying her hair with a towel. Takara, where were you? You weren't here when I got out of the bath, so I was a little worried. Takara? Oh no. I couldn't say the rest of it. Yuto and Yamazoe were asleep, but I didn't want to talk about it in front of them. Takara. Kurisu stood up, slowly walked over, and held me tight. She slipped her hands around my back and patted me gently, like a child. It felt like she'd been doing this all the time lately. But for now, I just wanted to let her do it. Kurisu. Oh no es. Oh no es. It's okay. You don't have to say anything now. You can calm down first. Kurisu. Yeah. Shinjo had seemed reluctant when I talked to him, but he'd acted fast after I left. The police must have been getting desperate. They wanted to make up for the mistake they'd made with Ito as fast as possible. Shinjo had persuaded his superiors and gone to search Serika's home. What he'd found there was absolute darkness, both concerning her and everything about her. That's what he said. There were signs that Serika Ito had lived there. Ito? I assume that that was a mistake and that's supposed to be Serika Onoe, but there were no signs of her parents. There was, however, a body. It was the body of the person who had originally lived there. Serika had killed the home's original owner, hid the body, and taken their place. That's what he'd said. Okay. She'd killed him how many years ago? Like, there we go. Serika married Ito in secret. I wanted to tell him he must be joking. I wanted to scream that he was lying. I was the one who'd asked him to do it, and to some degree I'd expected this. But hearing the truth felt like someone was cutting out my heart with a knife. I'm not good enough? I'm not good enough? I can be at your side forever. I can take Serika's place. Is that not good enough? Or can I not take her place at all? I realized clearly my home was here. This was where my heart belonged. Here with Yuto and Yamazoe and thank you, Nono. Yeah. When I finally said her name, she just nodded without saying a word. There we go. What if the homeowner she killed are Nono's biological parent? That would be fucked up, but also I would be open to that. We'll find out. I didn't know you could bake a cake in a rice cooker. You can actually do a lot of things with a rice cooker besides make rice. Big sis Nono really likes doing stuff like that. It's starting to smell like chocolate, you guys. I'd only eaten a few hours ago, but the delicious smell was making me hungry again. Nono was in the kitchen making a cake with Yuto and Yamazoe. I was leaning up against the wall and half-heartedly watching them. My head was still filled with thoughts of Serika. Shinjo had asked me to meet with him this morning. He'd had all kinds of questions. How did I find out that Serika Onoe was involved in the case? Where was she now? Who was she, anyway? Shinjo said that her family registration itself was fake, and he told me more. There was no sign that she'd ever existed until the time of the Shibuya earthquake 6 years ago. That was impossible. I remembered spending time with her. I could clearly remember going to AH General Hospital to look for Amy with her and finding Senni Minamisawa in the middle of an experiment. And I knew for a fact that Senni Minamisawa had been down in that facility before the earthquake. If she didn't exist, then what were my memories? But nothing I gave the police ended up being any real help. And there still wasn't a warrant out for Serika's arrest. It made sense given what had happened with Ito. They probably decided they couldn't risk treating another minor as the killer and getting it wrong again. There was also the question of where Serika came from. If she had no family registration, then she practically didn't exist. And you couldn't prosecute someone who didn't exist. And on top of all of that, there was the fact that the rest of the world still didn't know about the Gigalomaniacs. They were probably being as careful as possible. Serika Onoe. I said her name in my mind. She had been with me forever. She'd always taken my side. And she'd done all those terrible things for me. But then, who was she?
Okay, we're all set. Now, do we just have to wait for it to cook? That's right. Simple, huh? Hey, how long is it gonna take? About an hour? An hour, huh? That's right. It's not very exciting to just sit here and wait, so why don't we go somewhere? Can we? Yeah, it might be fun if we all went somewhere together. Right, Takare?
There we go. When this is done, we have to give her up and send her to Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. She'll fit right in there.
Huh?
I wasn't listening.
We were all talking about going somewhere.
Where?
Just for a walk. You want to come too, right? Come on, big brother Takare, let's go.
There wasn't much point in sitting here and being gloomy.
All right, I'll go.
Yes, Uki, let's get ready. Okay.
Yuto was really excited. I'd been keeping him inside lately out of fear that Serika might come. He was probably eager to get out of the house. Maybe it would be a good change of pace.
We're all set.
Nono, Yuto, and Uki came back holding cones piled high with ice cream. The color of the ice cream was so bright it stung my eyes. That's how you know it's the good stuff, if it's artificially flavored.
Here's yours, Takare.
She offered me one that was glistening with a thick coating of chocolate. Oh. I don't think our choices matter, but let me check really quick. Okay, choices don't matter. We can save, yes. Do we want to do positive delusion, negative delusion, or neutral? Because it doesn't matter, apparently. Because, again, she only has one ending. Thanks. Positive delusion, okay. I took the cone from Nono's hands.
You wanted chocolate and vanilla, right?
Yeah. Nono knew exactly what I liked.
It's good. Isn't it?
We do deserve something that has a chance to make the kids happy. As long as it doesn't get weird. Which I don't trust this game not to do, but we'll see how this goes.
It's delicious.
Wait, we're making a cake too. Is it okay to have so many sweets?
They say you can never have too many sweets, right?
Hadn't she gotten mad when I brought those yak cats? But, well, if it made everybody happy, and Nono too. Alright, let's have our delusion.
This is so good. It's so sweet and delicious. I feel like I'm melting.
Nono devoured the ice cream and went straight for the cone. She looked like she was in a state of ecstasy. Oh, this is gonna get weird, isn't it?
That was so good.
What, you're done already?
Yeah, but
She looked longingly at mine. What?
that wasn't enough. I want more.
Nono peered into my eyes, her cheeks flushed red. She was fidgeting and rubbing her thighs together. It was kind of a turn on. Oh, God. Not in front of the kids, exactly. My heart skipped a beat. I stopped licking the cone and gulped down my saliva.
Hey, Takara, can I lick it?
Mine? You can just go buy another one, right?
No. What I want to lick is that one.
Nono looked at it and poked her tongue out. The pink flesh poked longingly through her pretty lips.
It looks so good. Hey, can I lick it?
Okay. But the little kids are watching.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if they see me.
Please care if they see you, Nono. That was that okay? But Nono was practically begging for it. If you really insist, but just a little, okay? Yeah, we wanted cute time with the kids, and they went, you know what? Let's traumatize them more. She gave me a seductive smile and brought her face close. Then she licked it with the tip of her tongue. I can't do it. I've put so many weird things out on the internet. Make up your own noises. Her tongue moved from the tip down across the rest of it.
It tastes like you, Takara.
Her eyes were looking up at me from below.
More. Give me more.
I saw her tongue flick seductively for a moment before her tiny mouth swallowed the whole thing. Oh, God. What did we do? What did we do? Why did we do this? A smooth, clear liquid dribbled from her mouth. Her tongue flicked about and wrapped around the whole thing. Pleasure signals stimulated my brain one after another, and it was all I could do to stay standing.
Takara, I can keep going, right?
Kurasu. The walls of my reason collapsed. My head shook up and down.
Then say it aloud. If you want, I'll lick it for you.
Lick it more.
I can't hear you.
Lick it, please. Please.
All right. Since you said it right, I'll give you a reward.
Oh my God. Her crimson lips opened again as she slowly put it in her mouth. Takara, your finger tastes so good. Oh my God. Oh God. We deserve so much judgment after that. I've been wondering, like, in the back of my mind this whole time whether or not, like, Nono's got some sort of mind reading skill. Because there's been, like, a couple of hints here and there that I've wondered. Oh my God. I'm crying.
Hey, what's gotten into those two? Don't worry, it's nothing out of the ordinary.
What was I thinking about doing this in the middle of the street? Yeah, look, that was possibly the world's weirdest oral, and I say that as someone who has read a lot of fics on Archive of Her Own. So, we ended up using a lot of money, huh? After we'd bought everything we needed, we'd run through quite a bit of cash.
I guess starting tomorrow, we're gonna have to cut back, huh?
Nono sounded kind of happy. She'd been like that for as long as I'd known her. The worse a problem got, the more excited she was to solve it. That was one of the reasons everyone counted on her so much. Hmm? It was a phone call, but my phone was silent in my pocket, which meant
Sorry, it's me.
Nono took her phone out and looked at the screen, then put it back in her bag. Who was that?
Curious?
No, just you didn't answer it.
It was from Kawahara.
Kawahara?
Yeah, he calls sometimes and asks me when I'm coming back to school.
What?
Nothing.
Weirdo.
Oh, right. You got a raffle ticket at the last place we went to, right?
Yeah, come to think of it.
I think they're doing the raffle somewhere around here.
Normally, I never paid attention to things even if I got them, but Nono always did. She was always kind of a housewife that way.
Is that it?
Seriously, like, that would be the biggest problem with Nono, is that we did it in front of the kids. The rest of it, she'd be all down for. Yamazoe pointed to a small tent where a man was outside, yelling.
Come on, let's go.
I'll pass. I've never actually won one of these. Oh no, I always used to, though. Oh. I remembered Serika again.
Come on, don't be like that. Look, first prize is a brand new Pokécom, it says.
Nono had very clearly heard what I said, but she was talking like nothing was unusual at all. That made me feel a lot better.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, you guys siblings?
Can you tell?
Well, you all look like you're so close, so I sure can. This is a normal conversation to have with a stranger.
Hey, Takara, he says we look like a family.
Yeah.
But that makes me happy, but also a little sad maybe.
Huh? Okay, you get 4 draws in all.
Oh, sure. 4 draws means 1 for each of us. You're going to help too, right, Takara?
Fine. Sad? Why?
Oh, can I go first then? Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, here you go. Exactly, lucky emblem spotted. Take a picture with the gummy phone.
That's too bad. I wanted the portable game system that's second prize.
Those ones are set up so you can't win. You don't even know if there's actually a winner mixed in with the raffle.
Is that true, Nono? No, it's not. It's just not easy to win these. I'm happy with what I got, though.
Nono patted her 24 rolls of toilet paper and smiled. Yamazoe and Yuto laughed. Only then did I realize that at night, Yuto always used to cry or suddenly break out screaming. The trauma he'd experienced during the earthquake had given him scotophobia, the fear of the darkness. Give me just a second, guys. I need one moment. I'm going to go back to starting. Sorry about that. There was a weird noise. Um, all right. But ever since we'd moved, that hadn't happened. Even after he'd lost his sister and adopted father. Of course, part of that was due to Yuto's own efforts, but it just wasn't possible to get over a phobia just by working hard. A lot of it was probably thanks to Nono. Nono had become more of a mother than ever. She was looking out for everyone. That's why Yuto and Yamazoi were able to smile.
Here, Takure, you're having some of the cake we made in the rice cooker, right?
Oh, yeah.
You want a Mountain View, right? And Yuto wants milk, and Uki wants tea.
Hey, Nono? When I said her name, she stopped. She stopped what she was doing and turned around. Sorry, I all of a sudden can't read.
And smiled. You're going to call me that again, huh?
Of course. Your name's Nono after all.
Yeah.
The days passed peacefully. Why did I want to be special? I didn't need to be special. I didn't have to be special. Kurisu had always told me that, so why did I only notice now? How stupid had I been? Several more peaceful days passed. Shinjo would contact me once in a while, but all he ever asked was if Serika had contacted me. That meant that the police hadn't found her either. I couldn't let my guard down, but nobody was capable of staying on edge 24 hours a day. And with everything that lay ahead of me, I couldn't live in fear of Serika forever. I had some savings built up, but it wasn't enough for 4 people to subsist on forever. I just read that. I checked the employment sites for a good part-time job. Customer service was out of the question. So was anything involving physical labor? I looked for something that dealt with information, but of course I couldn't find anything. Part of me thought about asking Kunosato if she needed help with Shibuya News, but from the look of her apartment, she probably didn't have enough money to hire me either. No, wait. If we put more ads or something on the Shibuya News page and tried to get some affiliate income, suddenly there was a knock at the door.
Takure?
Nono was in the center of the room, sewing something. She tensed up. Only a few people knew about this apartment. Or could it be Serika? I silently motioned for the others to gather in the corner of the room and softly went to the door and reached out for the knob. But before I could open it, the door flung open from the outside. Oh, hey!
Hey, what's up?
Huh? Peeking through the door were Arimura and...
Hmm. Arimura?
and Kozuki.
Oh, ciao! It's been a while, guys.
What are you doing here?
Oh dear, is that any way to talk to your friends when they've come to check on you after you stopped coming to school and answering our messages?
Oh, no. There was a reason for that.
I see. So this is your love nest, huh?
Arimura grinned wickedly as she stared at the room. Love nest? What are you talking about? We're a family.
Anyway, can I come in? I'm coming in.
Exactly.
The real best girls have arrived. Bow down and be thankful.
Oops. Where did Otto come from? I don't remember which button Otto is, so... she never did listen to what anybody had to say.
Come on in and relax, Hana. Make yourself feel at home.
Arimura, you should probably make yourself feel a little less at home.
Oh, don't worry about me. The cheap tea is fine.
This girl.
Anyway, this place is more of a crap hole than I expected. It's honestly kind of impressive.
At this point, I was wasting my time even trying to say anything.
I'm glad to see that Yuto and Uki are doing well, too. It's been a while, ma'am. Thank you.
The two of them looked relieved to see the identities of our sudden visitors.
Sheesh, I'm glad to see you two haven't changed.
Nono must have been happy to see them because she had a big grin on her face.
How are things at school?
Exactly.
We're respecting your privacy by knocking, but asserting our authority as best girls by coming in anyway.
I didn't really care about school, but Nono was the student council president. It must have been bothering her. Anyway, how'd you find out about this place?
Oh, do you want to know? I bet you do.
I've been trying to keep it a secret, so of course I did.
We asked Shinjo.
It turned out to be a simple matter.
At first, he said he didn't know. Is he ever going to figure out that he can't lie to me?
So he'd had no choice but to tell her then.
So, you know about everything else?
Yeah, wow. Who would have thought she knew all about my ability and was able to fool me? Enemy or not, I'm impressed.
I knew instantly that she was talking about Seriko. Not saying the name was probably her way of trying to make me feel better. She was more delicate in things like that than you might expect because she'd spent so much time worrying about what other people were thinking.
Anyway, it must suck living next to...
There was a pounding on the wall before she could finish her sentence.
Be careful. The walls are as thin as they look, so she can hear everything you say. I bet she can hear it because she's trying to, like she's holding a cup up against the wall or something.
More pounding. Maybe Animura was right.
Come on, Kazuki. Don't pound the wall back. It's not a competition.
Just having the two of them here made this place feel like the club room.
Oh, right. As for the reason we're here today...
Animura suddenly stood up and left the room.
Come on, Hana, help me.
Now it was Kazuki's turn to disappear.
Huh?
The two of them carried a large object into the room.
Oh, wait, this is from the club room.
It was the map we'd used to track the case. Why did you bring it all the way here?
Hana said she was bringing it no matter what.
Kazuki did?
She said that SO2 wasn't as much fun without you guys talking behind her. But you guys aren't coming to school, right? So we have to go to you, which means from now on, this is the club room.
How selfish could you be? Maybe someone else might have let her get away with that, but...
Oh, wait a second. We don't have room for that thing. Just look around.
See? The Empress wouldn't.
But we've already brought it here, so it's yours now. Throw it out or do whatever you want with it.
Nono sighed and shrugged her shoulders. She must have realized she was wasting her time. Hinaya Arimura could be a very scary woman to deal with.
All right, since we've got no objections, I'd like to declare this place an outpost for the Hekio Academy Newspaper Club.
Arimura took out some Mountain Dew from the fridge and began to hand it to everyone. I didn't even feel up to complaining anymore.
Everyone, are you ready?
Kazuki applauded mechanically, a blank expression on her face.
All right, cheers. Cheers. Cheers?
Plastic bottles hitting each other didn't exactly make for a good toast.
What's wrong, Arimura? So, you and Miyashiro are sleeping together in the same room here each night, huh? There's Don't make it sound weird. We're all living in the same room because we're a family. And Yuto and Uki are here.
Kazuki must have found Arimura's words funny because she was holding her stomach and laughing. I never did understand her sense of humor.
I see. So it's the four of you all in the same place. That sounds like fun. Hey, Hana, why don't we live here too?
Huh? What was she talking about? Listen, we're not living here because it's fun.
That's right. And there's no room for anybody else to live here. Really? We could probably find a place to sleep, and if we all live together, we could cut down on rent.
For some reason, Kazuki was nodding rapidly in agreement. But still.
And what's more, look at this place.
Arimura stood in the middle of the room and spun around, her arms outstretched like a stage actress.
See?
See what?
Oh, you're so dense. Listen, there's 4 girls and 2 boys in here right now. It's practically a harem for you, Miyashiro.
Practically means it isn't, though. Hey, you guys. Kunosato burst through the door and screamed.
I've told you before not to make so much goddamn noise. Oh, perfect timing. Why don't you join us?
Join you?
Oh, come on. You were listening, right? Why don't we all live together? Is your head filled with maggots or something? Why would I want to... You'd save on living expenses.
She fell silent. Wait, was she seriously considering it?
Hell no. Why would I want to live with you people? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
See, she shot the idea right down.
Anyway, no more noise. Any more and I'll jam electrodes in your brains.
Kunosato slammed the door shut loud enough to bother the other neighbors. Didn't seem like she was joking.
Really? She doesn't get when someone's joking.
It's your fault for making so much noise for no reason.
How rude. I have a very good reason for... Oh. Actually, there was another reason we came here today.
Arimura slapped her hands together as if she'd only just remembered.
Want to go visit Ito in the hospital?
We'd heard that Ito had been released, but I didn't know that he'd recovered enough to meet with people. He was still considered a person of interest in the case, so they were refusing most visitors, but Arimura said we could get Shinjo to let us in. For his part, Shinjo probably hoped that we could get some information from Ito. And if Arimura was there, we could tell if Ito was telling the truth. I wanted to know how Ito was doing, too. We decided to have Yuto and Yamazoe stay with Momose while we were gone. She'd already taken care of Yamazoe before, so we knew it would be safe. Ito's room was on the top floor of the hospital. There were detectives stationed around the floor, but Shinjo must have sent word because they let us straight through. Ito. Hey. Ito looked at us from the bed and grinned, just a little. Miyashiro, guys, you came to see me, huh? Yeah, I guess. How you doing? How am I doing? Not bad. Probably. I'd expected Ito to be barely conscious, but his color was good and he didn't seem to be in a lot of pain. But
you're doing better than I thought. Oh, I brought you these. You can eat fruit, right?
Yeah, thanks. That was nice of you. It felt like the energy that had made Ito himself had vanished. So, I started to talk and then fell silent. From what I'd heard, Ito had lost all of his memories from the incident. I wanted to see if that was true, but how to ask? You're here about Yui, right? Do you remember? A little. The cops told me what happened. I couldn't tell if he was smiling or crying. I'm sorry. If I'd been able to protect her, maybe Yui would have survived. Huh?
Ito, what do you mean she might have survived?
I mean, she was killed right in front of me, wasn't she? What was going on? Yeah, so that girl I was saying I was in love with, did you ever resolve that plot point? I'm sorry. I really don't remember what happened over the past few weeks. It's like, it sounds like something you'd hear in a movie, but it's like everything's shrouded in fog. To be honest, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I looked at Animura. She nodded silently. That meant he was telling the truth. Suddenly, Ito looked around the room in surprise. Huh? Oh, wait, where's Onoe? Oh. I thought it was kind of quiet. I guess that's because she's not here. Did something happen? Oh, well. The timelines are converging.
She's stuck at school, she said.
That sounds just like her.
She said to say hello.
I see. Well, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to see her, but tell her to come by sometime. A hospital room is the most boring place in the world. Yeah, I don't think you actually want her to come by, man.
Hmm.
If he didn't remember, there was no need to force him to.
Ito,
Sorry. I tried to remember things, and I guess it tired me out.
I see. We should go then.
Sorry to make you come all this way. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Ito sank down into the bed and smiled at us weakly as we left the room. Unfortunately, it was true that he didn't remember anything. No, he hadn't just forgotten. He'd replaced the bad memories with ones that were better for him. But he was a victim too, in a way. No, I'm pretty sure he's a victim, just in general. It wasn't right to blame him and force him to confront the truth. I felt conflicted about it, though. Would Nono and I ever truly be able to be friends with him again? I wondered about that as I headed for home. Nothing happened for the next 2 days. Siddika was still leaving us alone. It might be time for me to head back to school. But with Yuto and Yamazoi to worry about, maybe it was still too soon. And then she showed up again. Exactly, he's a victim of an unwilling contact with a cadaver.
Ciao. Ciao.
She'd won Yuto and Yamazoi over too. So, what are you doing here today?
Well, aren't you just a bundle of sunshine today? I told you the other day, didn't I? This place is now the Hekio Academy Newspaper Club's outpost.
The corkboard was already situated behind us. I couldn't see it from here, but I would if I looked around. It made the whole place feel cramped. I'm letting the club members do their own thing for a while, so there's no need for you to be here. And you're in the literature club anyway, aren't you?
I've been hoping I could put the writing skills I developed in the literature club to use here.
And I'm here on an errand. You should be thanking me, not getting mad. Arimura puffed out her chest proudly. An errand? Unfortunately, it's not for you, it's for Kurise.
For me? What is it?
I don't know, but Kawahara said to give this to you.
Kawahara did.
Just as Nono took a stack of handouts from Arimura, her phone began to ring. She looked at the screen and ignored it. I didn't intend to look, but from where I was sitting, I caught a glimpse of it. It was Kawahara, the person we were just talking about. Exactly.
I'm moving into your place. Consider it a test run for when we're cohabitating as adults.
You sure you don't want to answer that?
I'll call him back later. It might be about the student council, though. I've spoken with the rest of the members and everything's going smoothly. It's fine.
What did he want then? Nono's phone rang again. And at the same time, there was a knock on the door. If that was Kawahara on the phone, who was at the door? What, he can't stand at the door and call? Was it Sirika?
Takare.
Tension filled the room. With the phone ringing, we couldn't pretend that no one was here. Should we answer or not? Just as I finally decided to stand up and answer it. Kurisu, you're in there, right? It's me, Kawahara. Open up. It was Kawahara, the boy who was calling on the phone. Exactly. He set a trap. Sorry to just barge over like this, but I thought that it was the only way I'd get to see you. Kawahara bowed as he came inside. Was that phone call? I didn't want you pretending not to be here. I felt bad, but I decided to check. In a cheap apartment like this, you could hear the phone ringing from the hallway. He must have figured that out. But why did he have to go through all this trouble? Maybe Serika was controlling him, just like she'd done with Ito. Either way, it would be best to be careful. You've probably already figured it out, but I asked Arimura to bring you those papers so I could find out where you lived. I'm sorry.
What? You did? Then
Wait a second, was I followed? She evidently hadn't noticed. I whispered in her ear, Hey, can't you tell when someone's lying?
he just told me to take these to her. That's not a lie.
What a useless power.
Kawahara, why did you do all of this?
Nono glanced at Yuto and Yamazoe, who were shaking in fear in a corner of the room. Why else? Because you're not coming to school.
I told you about that. I'm really busy right now.
I know you're busy, but you can't stay home forever.
I've got my reasons.
Reasons? If you've got reasons, then tell me.
That's...
She fell silent. She certainly couldn't tell him that Serika might be after her life. Is it something you can't tell me?
I'm sorry.
It's not because of him, is it? Oh. Kawahara looked at me. I see. So it is him, isn't it? He got you caught up in something again? That's why you can't come to school, right? Right? Oh, no. I wanted to say something back, but honestly, I couldn't. It was partially my fault, after all. Serika had done all of this because she thought it would make me happy, which meant that the reason we were stuck here was my fault. Hey, Miyashiro, I told you not to get Kurisu involved up in your crap. Well...
No, Kawahara, Takeru is... It's not Takeru's fault.
Then why can't you come to school?
Because of my family, so it's none of your...
Family? You call them your family, but they're not your real family, are they?
Huh.
Ouch. I could see Yuto freeze in the corner of the room. Yamazoe was next to him, rubbing him gently on the back. Kawahara hadn't noticed the change that had overtaken the rest of the room. He was still talking. Miyashiro, these other people you're living with, you're all just playing at being a pretend family, right? And anyway, I've known you longer than any of them.
Stop it.
We've always been together, ever since we were kids. You, me, and Minamisawa. Ever since then, I've always loved you. Oh my god. We're in like soap opera now. Yeah, it's not our fault this serial killer is on the loose, as far as you know.
What?
Another shockwave was sent through the room. It was a sudden confession of love? Of course, even I knew that Kawahara was in love with Nono. But I didn't expect him to say it in front of so many people. Even Arimura was stunned into silence. I'll say it again, Kurisu. Stop it, Kawahara. We can talk about this some other time. No, there are witnesses here, and I want to say this in front of them. Why? Why would you do this? I love you, Kurisu.
Kawahara.
Why? Why do you look so upset? I mean, you have basically trampled over her feelings like 8 times in the last 3 minutes, so...
Because...
You knew I liked you, right?
Well...
When we were younger, I always wanted to be alone with you. Even Minamisawa was in the way. I wished she would just disappear. But you always took pity on her. Wherever you went, Senri was with you. Do you know how much I wanted her to go away? Nono's face twisted in pain. It must have hurt to hear him talk about her friend like this. Normally, Kawahara would have picked up on that. But after coming out in front of so many people and saying that he liked her, blood must have rushed to his head. I finally thought I was rid of her. And now you're telling me you've got a family? What the hell? Okay, she died a lot of years ago. If you didn't make your move until now, that is not our fault. Just gonna put that out there. I know so much more about you than Miyashiro. I understand you. Come on, Kurusu. Kawahara looked straight into Nono's eyes. I could see that his eyes were a little bloodshot. I'll say it again. I love you. You love me too, don't you? Nono glanced around the room, looking upset, as everyone watched in silence. Finally, she frowned and bit her lip.
I'm happy you feel that way, Kawahara.
Then
But I'm sorry. I don't love you back.
why? Oh, this is cringe to say, let alone listen to. Like, Kawahara's voice rose in anger. Why? Is it Miyashiro? What is it about him that you like?
That's the problem.
Huh?
He's my little brother. Do you think anyone in the world likes it when you insult their little brother?
He's not your brother. He's a stranger.
But to me, he's part of my family.
No.
It's the same with her, Sydney. I wasn't with her out of pity. She was my friend.
The fact that Hinai paused there, I'm guessing that was a lie, because I'm guessing she's actually sending Minamisawa, which is why she's reacting like this.
And she's dead now. How can you talk like that about a friend of yours that died?
Kawahara looked like he was about to say something, but then he closed his mouth in frustration. Please.
Please, just leave.
Kurusu.
Please, leave. Calm down a bit. I'm sure that when you do, you'll be back to me in the Kawahara I know.
Fine. I'll leave for now. He headed for the door. Damn it! And smashed it shut as he cursed. The tension drained from the room, and I could finally take a breath.
I'm sorry about that, everyone. That must have really scared you, huh, Yuto? I'm glad you told him no, Big Sis Nono. I don't think I like him either.
It didn't seem like Kawahara was very popular. Not that I didn't know why. Exactly. If he can't accept non-blood relatives as true family, he has no hope of joining Nono's family as her spouse.
Takeru, I should apologize to you too.
No, I'm used to it.
Aw, I know, I'll make some tea. Let's try and cheer up a little.
The tiny room was soon filled with the scent of British tea, and peace finally returned. Except... Arimura, what's wrong?
Nothing.
Arimura would sometimes look at Nono as if she was thinking about something. And then the next day...
Man, this room is so cold. Don't you guys have a heater?
Hey, why are you still here?
I told you, it's part of our club.
You don't seem to be doing anything newspaper club related, though.
That's because you're not giving us any instructions, club president.
I told you I'm letting people do their own thing for a while.
What? But without instructions, poor little Hinaya doesn't know what to do.
I wanted to punch her. I wanted to punch her right then and there. Takeru, don't punch a lady.
I don't see the problem. We're always bored all the time anyway, right? See, Kurusu gets it even if you don't. Oh wow, these cookies are good.
Arimura was already digging into the tea and cookies that Nono had made.
Is this okara? Oh, you can tell? Someone gave me some okara, so I tried it out. That makes me happy, though. Takara never understands that stuff.
Understanding that stuff has nothing to do with information. Knowledge needs to be used for other purposes.
Right, I get it.
Arimura grinned as she watched us.
What? Wow, you two look just like a couple.
Don't be stupid. We're family, so it's normal.
That's right, we're family. Family, huh? What? Nah, it doesn't matter. Anyway, there was something I wanted to ask you two today. That's why I came here.
All that wasted time and now this. If she wanted something, she should have said so.
Kurisu, you were friends with that girl named Senni Minamisawa, right? Huh?
I leaned forward, surprised to be hearing that name now.
You remember you were talking about it yesterday, right? So I was wondering about it. Yeah, we used to play all the time in elementary school. It was us two in Kawahara. So what was she like? Why are you asking this? No reason. I was just a little curious.
I was curious too.
Senni Minamisawa was the girl we'd seen at AH Tokyo General Hospital when I was a kid, the one we'd left behind. I'd always thought that she might be the killer, but now I knew that I was wrong. I'd only seen her for an instant, but she'd had a huge effect on my life. Thinking back, it was strange that I hadn't asked about her before. Kazuki must have been interested too, because she was leaning forward and listening intently. Senni was a very quiet girl. She didn't like crowds and didn't really play with the other kids. But she was really nice. I see. So tell me about her family. Well, I'm sorry, I don't really know a lot about her family. Can we stop talking about this?
But you were friends, right?
Friends don't normally know that much about each other's families, do they? Anyway, I have to get dinner ready.
Weird after she just asked us why we didn't know anything about Serika's family, but whatever.
Oh, my apologies. My journalist's blood got the better of me.
Journalist's blood? You've never written a news story in your life.
Anyway, we don't want to stay too long and be a bother. We'll be heading home. Oh.
Arimura grabbed Kazuki's hand just before she could take another cookie, then stood up.
Walk us home, Miyashiro.
Huh? Why me?
The killer hasn't been caught yet, right? No real right-sider would let two defenseless girls go home alone in those conditions.
It's got nothing to do with being a right-sider.
Okay, we're going to borrow Miyashiro for a little. See you around.
Oh, wait, I didn't say I'd... Oh my god, we're stupid. I ended up walking them home despite my protests. Why did I have to do this? I wasn't even sure what they'd come over for anyway. That's an interesting idea. If Senni had the same power as us and Nono was Senni's version of Serika? Interesting. And on top of all of that, Arimura had fallen strangely silent. Kazuki was always quiet, but experience had taught me that whenever Arimura wasn't talking, it meant trouble. Of course, it usually meant trouble when she was talking, too. We walked along in silence before Arimura finally opened her mouth.
Kurisu is lying.
What?
And she's hiding something about Senni Minamisawa.
My heart thudded loudly. How can she tell?
How can I tell? You know about my power, right?
That's true, but she was lying? Nono was lying? To me? I was worried about Senni Minamisawa as well, but between the two, that was the bigger shock. Yeah, basically there's always trouble when Hina is around. Are you, sure?
Want me to show you my power again?
I could see her D-sword floating out of the corner of my eye. No, that's fine. Nono was hiding something. But why?
I actually figured it out yesterday. You know, when she was talking to Kawahara about her. Kurisu said that Senni Minamisawa was dead, but...
Was that a lie? Then, is Senni Minamisawa alive?
At least, that's what Kurisu thinks.
She was alive. Senni Minamisawa was alive. But why would Nono have to hide that?
And she said she didn't really know much about her. That was a lie, too.
What Arimura was saying was probably true. Nono knew Senni Minamisawa very well, and she believed that she was alive. Why did she think so? There were two possibilities. One was that she knew for a fact that Minamisawa was actually alive. The other was that she wanted to believe. If she'd consistently said she thought Senni was dead, then
Well, at this point, we know Serika Onoe is behind the murders, so maybe it doesn't matter. But it was bothering me. Anyway, Miyashiro, we can go the rest of the way on our own.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like Senni's alive because Nono's the real Senni. Like somehow during maybe even when we swapped bodies at well when we were at General Hospital, there was like a body swap or something. I don't know.
Miyashiro?
Ow! What's wrong, Kazuki? Why did you just scratch me like that? That hurt.
I've been talking and you've been spacing out. That's why. Right?
Oh, I see.
Um, should I maybe have not said anything?
Oh no, it's fine. It's not a big deal.
Really? I hope so.
I said goodbye to the two of them and headed back to the apartment. The whole way back, I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that Nono might be lying to me. Why? For what purposes? The same questions kept spinning about in my mind.
No secrets between family members. Keep this promise no matter what so that we don't get torn apart again.
Nono was the one who'd said that. No secrets. No lies. That was the one promise that kept us together. But
Oh, welcome back, Takare.
when I got back, Nono was the same as ever.
Did they get home okay?
Yeah, I only saw them part of the way, though. There was no sign of the awkwardness that had been there when she was talking to Arimura. But, about what we were talking about before.
Before?
About Senni Minamisawa.
I'm sorry, can we not talk about that?
Why?
Because it really hurts to remember a dead friend. Dinner will be done soon. Can you clear off the table?
Fine. It was obvious that Nono was avoiding talking about Senni Minamisawa. Maybe it didn't matter at this point. But still, something was bothering me, like a thorn pricking at my heart. Senni Minamisawa. Maybe I needed to learn more about her. It was one thing to decide to learn more about Senni Minamisawa, but the question was how to go about it. I asked Kunosato and Shinjo, but they didn't have much to tell me. They knew nothing beyond what we'd found in the basement of AH Tokyo General. Which meant that I had to ask someone who did know. To be honest, I wasn't happy with the idea, but I didn't have much choice. If I wanted to talk to him, this was the best place to catch him. Nono would ask questions if I left the house in my school uniform, so I went without it. That meant I stood out like a sore thumb. I recognized some of the students passing by, but they didn't pay any attention to me. They just chatted with their friends as they walked by. I waited for about 30 minutes. Finally, he appeared from the other side of the school gate. Miyashiro? Kawahara frowned when he saw me. I knew he didn't like me, but he also probably felt awkward about what had happened yesterday. I wanted to talk to you. Is that okay? Did you come to declare a war on me? Huh? What? You didn't come to tell me to keep my hands off Kurise? If you did, I was prepared to respect you a little. Oh, Kawahara seemed to misunderstand how things stood between me and Nono. No, I mean, he's kind of right. We're just not aware of it at the moment, I think. So? Huh? You wanted to talk, right? So talk. Kawahara didn't even bother to hide his irritation with me. People were staring at us as they walked by. Could we maybe talk somewhere else? Kawahara sighed and started to walk. I followed him. This place is good enough, right? He was standing on the side of a road without even a bench. It felt like his way of saying that he didn't want to talk for long. Out with it. Just so we're clear, I don't even want to see your face. I could tell from his tone that his hatred towards me was building, but I felt the same way. I just wanted to ask him my questions and get the hell out of here. You were friends with Senni Minamisawa, right? Minamisawa? Why are you asking about her all of a sudden? Well, there was something I was curious about. Not really. Kurusu and Minamisawa were friends. I never thought of her as a friend. I could tell that from the way he'd acted the other day. What was Minamisawa like? Just ask Kurusu if you want to know. She was a lot closer to her than I was. Kurusu says she doesn't really remember. She doesn't remember? That's impossible. Even I remember, and Kurusu spent a hell of a lot more time with her than I did. For example? Kawahara glared at me, but then he sighed and started to talk. Ever since I first met her, Minamisawa was always creepy. She was always pale and gloomy, and she mumbled so much you could barely hear what she said. Her only role in life was to make Kurusu look better by comparison. Kind of like you, maybe. He laughed. He wasn't even trying to hide his disgust with me anymore. But I didn't care. So, what about her family? Huh? Oh, I think her parents were caught up in some weird cult. Cult? I don't remember the name, but every Sunday she had to go to some facility. I forget where it was. I think it was under some big hospital, she said. A.H. Tokyo General Hospital? Yeah, and I'm not just saying that out of jealousy. She really was creepy. Not the place. What, you knew about it? No, not really. So Senni Minamisawa had been going there after all. But wait, did that place belong to some cult back then? Oh, come to think of it. He must have started to remember as he talked because he was speaking faster and more clearly. She always wore long sleeves to hide it, but I caught a glimpse of her arms in gym class one day. They were covered in needle marks. Then she started skipping school. Thinking back, there was probably something shady going on. So my parents told me not to have anything to do with her, but she was hanging out with Kurusu all the time, so... Kawahara's tone became sharper and angrier as he remembered the past. As I listened to him, of course I was remembering the girl named Senni Minamisawa. I was sure her parents had taken her to that research lab. She was undergoing experiments there every week. The goal, of course, was to awaken her gigalomaniac powers. I didn't know if her parents had agreed to the experiments, but it was easy to imagine that she hadn't wanted to do them herself. And there was one more thing I could tell from this conversation. That was... Hey, did Kurusu know about this? Of course she did. Like I said, she was a lot closer to Minamisawa than I was. Minamisawa would always talk to her about her problems, and she knew a lot more about her parents than I did. What I told you is something I actually heard from her. I see. Well, that's an interesting idea. Suddenly liked us, made Nono to be her friend, and then Nono inherited her mind and attachment to us when she died. Maybe. Is that all you wanted to talk about? Yeah, thanks. What the hell? Why do I have to... I bowed to Kawahara and turned to go. Hey, Miyashiro! I heard his voice behind me. Tell Kurusu to start coming to school. And if anything happens to her, I'll make you pay for it. Once he was done talking, he walked off. But to be honest, I didn't care. What was important was that...
I'm sorry. I was friends with Senni, but I don't really know a lot about her family. Can we stop talking about this?
Yeah, she's lying to us. Nono was lying to me after all. Nono was hiding something. Something involving Senni Minamisawa. Even after she'd promised that she wouldn't keep any secrets, which meant that was a lie too. All right. I think we're going to end here for tonight because I am very tired. Um, Next stream, Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. I don't have any announcements either. Tell Mana to get well because they have hurt their foot. And I think Lemur might be coming back next stream, so that should be fun, exciting, all of the above. But that's all I've got, guys. Thanks for hanging out, and I apologize for the fact that I've been a little out of it tonight. But we made it. Yeah, maybe some Fatal Frame time. Have a good night, all. Thanks for hanging out, and see you on Thursday. Bye.